Live from Arkansas's streaming news leader, this is THV 11 Morning News at 6.
Good morning. Thank you for being with us on THV 11 or streaming with your TV on THV 11 Plus. I'm Karen Fuller.
I'm Hayden Balgavy. It is 6 o'clock. Thanks for joining us here. And meteorologist Tracy Bean is with us pulling double duty. Ashley is off today. So you got traffic, you got weather, you got fog, combining them all together.
Yeah, I'm all by my lonesome this morning. Ashley's not feeling well, so we're going to let her rest up and get better. We are dealing with a little patchy fog this morning, so that could cause a little bit of trouble in the commute. Now, yesterday we had the dense fog. We don't have that just yet. Do want to let you know that. Not quite as thick so far. That's the key so far. But we've got a lot more volume on the road today as well, with the schools back and of course people going back to work after the holiday. This morning, if you're heading into downtown, already seeing of course a bit of that fog out there. We are starting to see that sunrise around at 6:52, and of course that's when that fog sometimes gets the thickest. So take your time, especially if you're heading out the door around that time. Sunset around 5:55. So we're less than a month away from that time change as well, keeping in mind. Now 49 starting things off this morning. Probably won't need that jacket as you're heading out. The winds are picking up a little bit and they will continue to. We are seeing about 1.5 miles visibility here in central Arkansas. That was down from 5 to 3 and now we're down to 1.5 miles. Still seeing that biggest impact along Interstate 30 there and in Hot Springs. So take your time as you're coming in, especially with those neighborhoods at the kids at the bus stop for the next couple of hours. And highs today are going to be around 68 and a few 70s as well. It's going to be a bit breezy today. We've got a boundary coming through and it's got a really tight gradient, so that's going to push a lot of air our way and fast. So we could have some gusts around 25 to 30. We'll look at your hour-by-hour forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Early voting in the primary elections begins in just hours. One decision facing Arkansans is whether Justice Nicholas Bronny will remain on the state Supreme Court. He's facing a challenge by attorney and law professor John Adams. Right now, Bronny is in position 6. Governor Sanders appointed him at the start of the year, but an appointed justice cannot run for their own seat. So he is running for an open one, and that is position 3. The race is nonpartisan, but Bronny has been endorsed by state Republican leadership, and Adams has run for Congress and the state legislature as a Democrat in the past.
People across the state are also deciding who will represent Arkansas in Congress. For District 2 here in central Arkansas, incumbent Republican French Hill faces Chase McDowell in the GOP primary. The winner there will face the Democratic winner in the race between Chris Jones and Zach Huffman. In the eastern half of the state and District 1, Representative Rick Crawford of Jonesboro will likely face Democrat Dr. Terry Yarbrough Green of Paragould in November. And in District 4, the western and southwestern parts of the state, voters will decide between Steve O'Donnell and James Russell to challenge Republican Bruce Westerman. O'Donnell is a Navy veteran and business owner. Russell has run for office in the past while spending decades working in mental health care.
Senator Tom Cotton is facing a challenge this election season with candidates from both parties vying for the seat. In the Republican primary, incumbent Cotton will be running against Warren native Jeb Little, who served in the National Guard and has experience in law enforcement, and Micah Ashby, a graduate of ASU who works in religious ministry. FEC filings show Cotton far ahead in total contributions at more than $11.5 million. Little's fundraising receipts come in just under $55,000 and Ashby's around $40,000. On the other side, the Democratic race will determine who faces Cotton in November's general election. It is between lifelong farmer and businesswoman Hallie Schaffner and Louisville Mayor Ethan Dunbar. The FEC website shows Schaffner has raised over $1 million, while data for Mayor Dunbar is not yet available. Developing overnight, civil rights leader and minister Jesse Jackson has died.
He spent decades pushing for racial justice, from the civil rights movement to national politics and global human rights work. Michael George takes a look back at his legacy.
It's a lie. We are against racism.
Jesse Jackson said he dedicated both heart and soul to the fight for justice.
We must put a diploma in one hand, symbolizing knowledge and wisdom, and put a voter registration card in that other hand, symbolizing power and responsibility.
Born in 1941 in South Carolina, Jackson grew up under Jim Crow laws. By the time he'd graduated from college, he was involved in the civil rights movement. In 1965, he joined Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s inner circle, taking on a leadership role. He was with Dr. King in Memphis when he was assassinated a few years later.
High school graduation.
Ordained as a minister, Jackson began Operation Push in Chicago in 1971 and created his political pulpit, pressuring companies to hire more black workers and extend business ties with the African American community. In 1984, he founded the National Rainbow Coalition and launched his first presidential run. The campaign raised his profile, but anti-Jewish comments sparked a scandal that damaged his reputation. After losing a second presidential run in 1988, he kept his spot on the political stage.
We are a humane people. We fight for justice and fairness.
Jackson delivered rousing speeches at Democratic conventions.
Keep hope alive.
And he supported candidates, including his son, Jesse Jackson Jr., who was elected to the U.S. House. In the 1980s and 90s, he helped negotiate the release of American hostages held abroad. And in later years, he protested for victims of police violence, from Ferguson to Chicago to Baton Rouge.
Stop the violence. Save the nation.
In 2017, Jackson revealed he'd been diagnosed with Parkinson's. And while the disease may have slowed him down, he said it wouldn't stop him from his mission, instilling hope in the hopeless. Michael George, CBS News.
Now to a THV 11 update on a homicide investigation in BB. Police say 65-year-old Brian Raddick was found dead inside a home after a neighbor called 911. Officers say he suffered multiple stab wounds. Authorities have now arrested 38-year-old Brittany Reveley. She is facing preliminary charges of capital murder and tampering with evidence. She is being held in the White County Detention Center pending her first court appearance. A heads up this morning, there is a scam going around that we want you to know about, and it specifically targets Verizon customers.
The cell provider is offering a $20 credit after an outage last month, but cybersecurity experts say that since customers know it's coming, they might be more likely to be fooled. Experts advise only claiming credits via the My Verizon app. Watch out for text-based scams called smishing attacks.
Cyber criminals have leaned into these kinds of scams because people tend to be more trusting of text messages, which can also include direct messages from social media.
What Verizon did, which from a cybersecurity perspective I don't quite agree with, is they sent texts to people. What cyber criminals immediately did is piggyback off of what Verizon was doing, sent their own fake malicious links out to anyone that they had on a list of phone numbers.
So if you think you have clicked on a malicious link and gave up your name and password to scammers, take action right away. Reach out to both the cell company and your bank. Get your passwords and your username changed immediately.
Time now 6:07. Rain from the weekend is still affecting parts of Arkansas. Right now, some typical flooding spots are running high. The city of Jacksonville has closed the one-lane West Main Street bridge that leads to the North Lake neighborhood, and it will stay shut down until further notice, but crews will be monitoring the water levels every few hours. The bridge will reopen once it's safe, and the city says it will post updates as soon as that happens. Today, work continues on a major pothole trouble spot on I-40. RDOT is repairing 17 damaged concrete panels on I-40 eastbound between North Hills Boulevard and the I-57 interchange. So they're closing 2 eastbound lanes nightly starting at 8 p.m. until finished. Officials say the patching should smooth out the drive until a full rebuild happens. That's part of the I-30 crossing project. Time now to check in with meteorologist Tracy Bean and the forecast to help you plan your day.
I'm coming. We just had an accident, so I was wrapping that up real quick. I can show you here in a second. But again, this fog out there this morning getting a bit thicker, so take your time this morning. About 1.5 miles visibility here in central Arkansas. A little bit less there in Hot Springs, down to about 1/2 mile in Arkadelphia. So if you're coming in from Saline County, certainly seeing that, and then also making your way in from Interstate 40. So that's where that accident is. We'll show you here in just a second. But today, hour by hour, we're going to see this fog stick around for a little while and clouds as well. It's going to be a bit breezy today with a gust of 25 to 30 this afternoon, and those highs will be in the mid to upper 60s, and we'll see a few 70s, and we'll see 70s here in central Arkansas over the next couple of days as well, going into Wednesday and Thursday. All right, taking a look at that traffic this morning, and this is just west of Morgan. We do have an accident, but you can see that volume is certainly increasing, and I'm going to be flowing along with you here just flying blind because I couldn't read a lot of it just a second ago, but this is going to be right in Mayflower, right by one of the lakes there. As we can see, there's accidents on the right shoulder. It's blocked on I-40. Let's see, eastbound past Arkansas 89, exit 135, which is the Mayflower exit. So seeing that right shoulder blocked at this time, but as we saw on that camera there, it's starting to slow things down a little bit. So I'll get a little more information on this as well and keep you updated as we're heading through the morning.